Hi, everyone. We will start today's webinar number 15 in a couple minutes here. We'll just give some people more time to join the webinar. So I think we can get started. This is our webinar 15 for the post-active treatment surveillance in prostate cancer and NCDB special study. So all cases are submitted if the site has completed the study. Confirmation emails will not be sent out. We understand many of you are still working behind the scenes, but we really encourage, if you haven't started the study, to start now. The deadline is Monday, August 28th, and thank you for everyone for all your hard work. So the purpose of this study is for patients who have received curative intent prostate cancer treatment to determine whether more frequent PSA testing leads to better survival or more harm for the patient. So in order to answer this question, it's important to know every test the patient had and to know exactly how frequently a patient is having PSA tests and to know if the patient has had a recurrence. So if many of the registrars have had problems with the outside facility responses, so if there's been no response or no information returned from the outside facilities after waiting for 2 weeks, and you've tried calling and faxing and sending the template letter, then please mark the patient as ineligible. If replacement patients are from the same practice, then please mark ineligible in order to save time. So if you know that one urology group will not respond to your request, then you can, and that patient is from that urology group, then you can automatically just mark them ineligible in order to save time. So if cases still show in the patient data to be submitted section after the deadline of August 28th, your facility will not receive credit for standard 5.7. Sites that only submit ineligible patients can still receive credit for 5.7 for doing the work of determining eligibility. So as a reminder, Monday, August 21st will be the last date to replace a patient, 1 week before the study deadline of August 28th, 2017. So thank you so much for asking all the questions. Many questions relate to, is this patient eligible? So PCPs might have checked PSAs, biopsies, and scans, and it would be important to enter all of this information if the PCP checked these items that are relevant to the study. The key question is, do you feel you are able to record all of the PSAs the patient has had after treatment? So if the PCP and the urologist have duplicate PSA records, they do not need to be entered twice. Registrars should follow the Ford's manual. For example, a PSA of 1.2, you first move the decimal over and then round. So this would be 0, 1, 2, or 12. You can add the leading zeros or not. The web form will accept both answers. And numerically, these are identical numbers and will not affect the study or data analysis. So, for example, a PSA of 0.02, you move the decimal over and it would be 0.2, but you round to the nearest whole number to 000, and you can add the leading zeros or just leave 0 as the answer. When a patient has a result of less than some small number, then please enter the result as 0 for the study. In the sole instance, we differ from the Ford's manual, and the example was given in the instructions to specifically show this. So for recurrence, when the doctor indicates a possible recurrence and treatment starts, this should be considered recurrence. Date of the recurrence should be the date of the doctor's note, and the term salvage radiotherapy indicates the recurrence. After definitive radiation treatment, if cancer is shown in the TOR pathology, please record this as a local recurrence. Once a case is submitted as ineligible, it will automatically be replaced and will not appear on the patient list. So the web form will not allow for submission of incomplete information. There will not be any blanks that can be entered. So a lot of people have asked, they can't delete the first test on the testosterone and the biopsy tab. If there has to be at least one test entered on all of the tabs, and if no tests were done during the surveillance period, we ask that you enter the 0 option. We trust that the registrars submit patients without errors, so we won't be reviewing the data once the patients are submitted for you to be able to edit them. So once they're submitted to us, no further edits can be made once the study deadline is over. If changes need to be made to a submitted patient, or you accidentally mark the patient ineligible and he is eligible, you can email specialstudy@fax.org and we can return the patient to your list up until the deadline. And we ask that you include all of the special study IDs and your FIN in communication with us. If errors pop up while you're saving, please close the browser and try again. This could be from not saving periodically, and so please note that the web form will time out after 3 hours. So we ask that you please make sure to save your work. If errors pop up when you're trying to submit patients, please make sure both confidence questions at the bottom of the PSA and the scan tabs are answered. If the error persists, you can email us at specialstudy@fax.org with the special study ID. So we have had 15 webinars so far, and here is all the national program recognition information from NCRA. So the webinars 12 through 15 have only been 30 minutes, and so they will only be half credit. So now we will review questions from the previous webinars or any of our frequently asked questions. So one of the common questions we've received is, if you have 3 years information, but then the patient moved out of state after 6 years, is the patient still eligible? So the answer is the patient is eligible with 3 years of records. The 8 years is a stopping point, not an eligibility criterion. So for this example, please enter all data, which is the 6 years that you have available. So are sites automatically compliant with the standard for submitting cases to the study? Yes, all sites that submit all of their patients by the study deadline of August 28th are compliant with standard 5.7 in 2017. Sites that have less than 12 patients on their list will still receive credit for standard 5.7, and sites are required to submit all of their eligible patients up to 12 total. If all PSAs were completed by the urologist and the PCP did not check any PSA at all, is the patient eligible? If you have confirmation that the PCP did not check any PSA, then the patient is eligible. If you are unsure or you have not heard back from the PCP, then the patient is ineligible. If the urology office has 3 consecutive years of PSAs done and the PCP's office does not respond, is the patient eligible? No. So in this instance, the patient is not eligible because you need the PCP record. The primary care physician may have checked additional PSAs, and the only way to know this is to get the PCP record. The only exception is if the PCP office is able to confirm that no PSA was checked by the PCP at all. So we are winding down for the study, so we are here to answer all the rest of your questions. And if you need to email us, you can email us at specialstudy@fax.org, and I will go back to the NCRA information. So the receipt of radiation treatment in version 2 of the instructions, we have listed out all of the possible codes. So if you need to update that, please look at the instructions version 2, which can be found on the website. So under the biopsy tab, we would only enter surveillance biopsies, not the biopsies that diagnose the prostate cancer. That is correct. The initial biopsy that diagnosed the prostate cancer is not in the surveillance period. The surveillance period is after treatment and is defined more precisely in the instructions manual. So if no other biopsies were done during the surveillance period, you would click Add a New Test and enter the 000 option with 8 zeros to indicate that no tests or no biopsies were done during the surveillance period. So how would you decide the confidence interval rate? It's purely based on your sense of how complete you think the data is. So 0 would be you're not confident at all, and 100 is that you think you have 100% of the record. So Ron, I don't know if you're on the call right now, but I received a question about if a patient has first course treatment as active surveillance and then they later get radiation as second course treatment, are they still eligible?
Hi, yes, yes, they are eligible. You know, the eligibility is if the patient had surgery or radiation as a curative treatment for prostate cancer. So if they had active surveillance first, but then subsequently had surgery or radiation, they would meet eligibility. I think we would have to, maybe the person can ask us about how to then define the surveillance date for the subsequent data. It may have to be based on the actual treatment, not the date of active surveillance.
Okay. So the surveillance start date would still be the end date of radiation, even though that was second course treatment.
Yeah, active surveillance, well, I guess would be the first course, I don't know, decision, although it's not necessarily a treatment. So I think the first treatment would still be surgery or radiation.
Okay, great. If you're having problems saving data on the additional clinical information tab, then please try and close the browser and reopen it, and that might fix all of the saving issues. And please make sure that you're saving every 3 hours because the web form can time out and your information might not save if you don't save every 3 hours. So we are just waiting for more questions to come in. The sound should still be working. So I think that's all the time we have for today. We will see everyone next week for the next webinar. And if you have any questions, you can email specialstudy@fex.org. Thanks.